everybody. I'd like to call to order the work session on AO 2015-72, Fish and Game, and the municipality. I think it's a memorandum of agreement. You're going to present, Robin? Thank you. You have the floor.
Would you like to do roll call?
So thank you, Robin. Want to start with you?
Robin Ward, Municipal Real Estate and Heritage Land Bank.
John Rada, Parks and Recreation Director.
Bill Evans.
Ollie Gray Johnson.
Tim Steele.
Patrick Flynn.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We just want to give a short overview. We just weren't sure whether or not there might be questions. We have Joe Meehan and Mark Fink from the Department of Fish and Game here to answer any questions on the management side, policies and so on, if you have any. I took your 5 maps that are in your packet and we put them all onto one so that you can see that this goes from basically Potter, and I don't know if you can see that. Maybe, yeah, up a little bit. The parcels that we're talking about are municipal parcels. They're either HLB or parks, that's why John and I are here, that extend from Potter's Marsh up and around past Kincaid Park to the AAU site, which is what you just talked about, which is 6. Now, what we're talking about are those portions of the municipal properties that fall within the boundaries of the Anchorage Coastal Wildlife. So when you see these, it's only the sliver that actually falls within the boundary that we are actually talking about. These properties right now are currently already under an agreement for management by Fish and Game from 30-some years ago. So this would update that and include the remaining parcels that we've discussed along here so that they're consistently managed along with their properties. The rest of that is normally state that you see that's not colored. So the public perception is basically pretty much everything over the bluff. People think that the state already owns it when in fact the municipality does own some of those parcels. So you want to comment on kind of what happens? This has been 50-some years in the making, I believe.
Yeah, the challenge has always been who owns what and what rules do you follow. That's it in a nutshell. This makes it consistent. It makes it where people will buy signage, any other means, methods, whatever. They, for example, will, of course, protect their area with appropriate signage. But we all deal with the behaviors, if you want to call it. Some positive, some not so positive, and not so positive, then we don't have enforcement. That's a challenge for Parks and Recreation. Whereas Fish and Game, of course, can apply standards and enforcement on the conditions. It's not really going to change anything. It's just going to be consistent. That's really what we're trying to accomplish here. It also, with the challenges with people building fires, the dumping, we've worked with them before in cleaning up some of the areas. It doesn't change what we do, it just makes it standardized on how we apply the rules. And everybody will play by one set of rules, and it'll make it easier for all of us.
Any questions? Mr. Steele?
If it's under current agreements, then the rules ought to be the same. Don't those agreements give them the enforcement power?
Only on these properties
Yeah.
down here. These are the only 3 right now that are under the current agreement.
Right. What we're trying to do is apply this end to end, if you want to call it.
Mr. Flynn?
Yeah. First question is, are we at least trying to apply the same rules as the municipality on the parcels that are being added, even if we don't have enforcement powers, as we intend to have enforced under this agreement with the state? I personally remember getting kicked off of Point Warren's off of plants as a teenager.
I think I understood what you said. Our rules and their rules are very similar already. What we're going to do is apply their rules and standards because there's a couple of nuances in there, particularly when you get into hunting. So
You're going exactly where I'm going, so keep going.
So, I mean, the principle of it is we have to, people don't know where they're at. That's part of the problem. You exit one area, you traverse over to another area, now you have a new set of rules if something happens. Or you use that against, well, I didn't know, and you get into this back and forth stuff. We don't need that. What we need is to just have a standard set of guidelines and rules that the public understands, well signed, so they know when they enter the areas, and I think that's going to make it advantageous for all of us.
Friends of the Wildlife Refuge have already supported this, and I don't think we're going to have a problem to approve. I just want to make sure I'm doing my part. Maybe it's a fish and game question. Do we still have the bird hunt down in South Anchorage in the refuge in the fall?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Is that going to be expanded into some of these other regions?
Yeah, I just addressed it, Joe Meehan with Fish and Game.
Thanks, Joe.
Small portions of the refuge are open to waterfowl hunting. And it includes areas to the south, across the railroad tracks from Potter Marsh. It also includes...
Track, only one track.
Track. And then it also includes the lands from the Kincaid motocross track out and around Point Campbell and up towards Point Warzone. One nuance of that, though, is actually right now it's illegal to hunt on those municipal lands that are below the bluff in those areas that are open to hunting. And this agreement would take care of that. It's not something we've asked the troopers to enforce down there, but technically somebody hunting on municipal land below the bluff within the boundary of the refuge is not authorized. That's not the intent, but this agreement would take care of that.
So that would allow hunting in those areas?
It would make it technically legal.
With formalized behavior.
Okay. That's your problem, Steele, not mine.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Claire. Mr. Steele.
Yeah, my question is along the same lines. Does that mean there's going to be hunting in Kincaid Park?
Below the bluff.
There would be a new hunting where it doesn't already occur, and it would be below the bluff, out of the flats.
Like I said, it's your problem, Steele, not mine.
But that hunting is already occurring and has been occurring for decades, so it doesn't create anything new.
Are you finished with your presentation? Any other questions?
I'm good.
Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned.